You're gonna learn today. You're gonna learn today. Welcome to Be Doing for the Culture Radio, where our stories matter. The crew is back. We are here today. It's
Back
me,
in the building.
Lover, with the crew. Tina Medina, main minute. Say what's up to the people, please.
Peace and love, everybody.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, we had a couple of days off, a couple of weeks off, whatever. You know what I mean. We wanted to give y'all a break out. You know what I mean. But we
That was
here
like
to
a
make
month.
it do what it do, and we got a pretty nicely filled show for y'all today. We're going to be discussing the rally that they're going to be having in our hometown back in Port Chester, New York. They're going to be having a rally on August 2nd at Columbus Park. The theme of the goal is to try to get the park renamed after a wonderful young lady who did a lot for the community in the Port Chester area, especially uh, that area, downtown, the park area, Travis Purdy, the main street. Her name was Bettina Faust. She did a lot for the community. So the goal is to try to get the park renamed after her. So we're going to be tapping into that a little bit. We're also going to talk about since we've been going, we've had a lot of untimely deaths back in our hometown. Young, middle age, really nobody that's really old, and you know, these untimely deaths are starting to stack up. It's starting to become a thing of the norm. We want to tackle a little bit of all of that. So please, tell your mother, tell a friend. Stay tuned. We got a nice show prepared for y'all today, and we will be back in the next couple of minutes. We're gonna get our thoughts together. We're gonna come right back. We're gonna come dive right in, y'all. Y'all ready? We do it for the culture radio. Yes, yes, yes. Welcome back to We Do It for the Culture Radio. Uh, well, our stories matter. We thank you for chiming in. We're gonna be having a lot to talk about today, and before we do, I just want to take a little quick break as we do have a ad to beat off of. So here we go. With all of life's demands, buying insurance is probably low on your list. Lucky there's someone who's looking out for you and putting your needs first. A trusted friend is right around the corner. Our team at Choose Us Insurance can provide you with great protection from Progressive with a personal touch. Whether it's comparing rates or finding ways to save, our team can help. We're not just agents, we're members of the community. From finding a policy to answering insurance questions, Choose Us has you covered. Give us a call, 302-360-8700. That's Choose Us Insurance. Give them a call for all your insurance needs, auto, home, business, life. Give them a call. Thank you very much. Here we go. Check it out. We've been having a lot of untimely deaths, and it's been a thing of the norm. It used to be a time when you can look into your 70s, 80s, and expect people's health to decline. Um, it probably wouldn't even be, a shock to lose somebody in their 70s, 80s. You're lucky if you get to the 90s. But in this day and age, untimely deaths are becoming the norm. If I have to say so myself, if you can make it to 40 years old, that's a milestone in today's society. Would you agree, Maine and Tina, at all with that assessment or no?
To some degree. I mean, people still die. People still live long, live a long, lengthy life, and then die. Then people die young. But like in our town lately, 10 years maybe, people have been dying in the same neighborhood, back to back, family members from health issues,
Well, it's not.
other things like that.
I can't really say it's our neighborhood. I'm not even talking about COVID-19. I'm not even talking
No, I
about.
wasn't talking about COVID-19 either. I was just
Yeah,
saying, like,
yeah,
as far as people dying, passing away that you've known and they died young.
yeah, exactly. COVID-19. I ain't gonna lie. COVID-19. Man, they did a sweep in 2020. I mean, they just was
Yeah,
so-called people was dying left and right from COVID-19, right? So, but here's the thing: even if you look at the whole scope of things, even celebrities, when you look at a lot of celebrities, like the Gerald Leverts of the world, and you know the Luthers, a lot of these people they didn't die of old age. A lot of these celebrities and people that they're dying at a young age, and I don't know if it's so much health issues, not taking care of ourselves. We do have to we'd be hypocritical not to give some credit to um, you know police killing us and black on black crime. In any event, it has to be addressed. We have to figure out what in the world is going on here. I'm not going to say there's anything that we could change, but we could probably do some things differently when it comes to our health. Um, there's a stigma about black men in the community, right? Black men don't like to get health checkups. Black men don't go to the doctor. Uh, I don't know if that's other ethnic groups as well. I would say maybe the Hispanic community because they really don't. A lot of them that come over, they really don't have a lot of health insurance unless they get Medicaid or something like that. Because you know they're really not getting landed these jobs. A lot of them are paid under the books. So, but it's something that we have to look at. You know what I mean? Tina, you
right.
muted. Did I mute you, Tina? Or did you mute yourself? You there?
You muted me. This is
I did.
don't ever mute me again. I'm
Oh,
good.
yeah, but,
Turn
May,
her mic off.
May, why did you mute her, May?
So wait,
Turn her mic off.
so I love you, Maine. I love you, Maine. All right, so wait, so there's a few elements at play. I'm gonna say so. One, the first element at play is that lack of health insurance or lack of adequate health insurance. For instance, this is the first time I have been without health insurance for 20 years, right? I'm teaching part time. I don't have health insurance. I've had employer based health insurance for at least 20 years before that. So I went to the doctor. Even then, I went sporadically. because I'm like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it type. Like I like, like I don't go to the doctor. And it's kind of how I've been in my whole life. Like if like I feel fine, I don't go to the doctor. If I don't feel fine, I go to the doctor. But now I have no health insurance, so I don't go to the doctor even when I don't feel fine. But but there's, I think, that element at play, and then there's a few other elements at play. It's just like, I think that a lot of us, it depends on kind of where you grew up. Some people who did have like state insurance kind of used the emergency room as their regular doctor. I've known people like that, like who was just like, they had a toothache, they went to the ER. They had their pain in their elbow, they went to the ER because they had state insurance. And at the time, state insurance paid everything, no questions asked, whatever. So, but I think that that was an element of that culture. But I think that there's the element of not having health insurance, that we don't go to the doctor as much. Also, many of us are more so with financial difficulties. Healthy food is more expensive, right? I don't know if you, I mean, like, if you want to get a salad, like all that stuff is more expensive than buying oodles and noodles, or buying,
Yeah, absolutely.
like,
A lot more expensive.
yeah. So like healthy food is more expensive, or it maybe it's not as expensive, but it doesn't last as long. And you've got to think about what your family can afford. Like I could feed my family for a week on this packaged, full of sodium, full of fat, full of whatever food. And I did this. Like I mean, it's been a long time. I mean, my kids are 30, what, 30, about to be 32 and 26, right? But when they were little, like, I had to get whatever I could afford on 475 a month or whatever I was making at the time. So it was just like I had to make whatever worked, and whatever worked was fatty, it was full of sodium, it was full of whatever. So like, it doesn't mean that the people aren't trying. It's just like, what can you afford to do to get your family to survive? So it's just like you have to balance it all. Honestly, it's just like, okay, what can I do to keep you alive? Yeah, it's not the best thing, it's not the most healthy things for you, but you'll have something to eat today. So it's kind of a balance that I feel like a lot of people who have, like, if they're like middle income, they don't have to think about.
True, that's true. I probably can co-sign that because um, as an entrepreneur, you're pretty much responsible for your own health insurance, right? You know,
Hmm.
I've even had to go and get jobs on the side, like working at Lowe's and stuff like that.
It got benefits.
Yeah, just to have
Right.
for periods of time, just to make sure that I have some benefits um,
Hmm.
coming in, whatever. Even if it's just for 6 months, so I can get my teeth cleaned, so I can get my my health checked out, to get my glasses, get my eyes checked. But I can't necessarily say this. It's all about our eating habits. You know what I mean? I think as a whole, we have so many different areas that we have to be concerned about. So yes, eating is one of them, right? We have to worry about our eating habits. Are we eating healthy? If not, whatever. Now we got these underlying issues like the
That we're
diabetes,
more prone to. They
huh?
come in that we're more prone to.
Exactly. That was key word that we are more prone to. The
Right.
cholesterol problems, the heart
Yeah.
problems. Okay, so that's one area, right? Okay, so
Hmm.
now we have injustice also on the other side, whatever. We're probably being targeted and killed at an alarming rate, right? Okay, so then you got the black on black crime. Um, it's a
I
lot.
always hate that phrase though. I hate the media coined that term black on black crime. That's just something else to make you look like you're the boogeyman. Black on black crime, like we're freaking animals. There's no fucking white on white crime. There's no Spanish on Spanish crime. You've never heard that, right? There's
So
no native on native crime. They all do crime. We all do the exact same crime, but we just do it to each other because we're around each other, right? Because we live in that lifestyle, so to say.
I
That's
think
why you got children getting killed in Chicago. They're only black like that because that's who they're around and what they live and what's intertwined in their lives is violence and shit like that. If that was anywhere else, it's the same goddamn thing. Would you think goddamn Mexican gangs is chilling and having picnics? They busting guns too, killing people too. You know what I'm saying? They just put our
absolutely.
shit out there front line.
Yeah, but I mean, even if you, no matter how you sum it up, no matter what type of terminology you use,
That's the
it's real.
problem. Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
problem,
absolutely,
and
absolutely.
so
But it's just I hate that term because it makes they make it stand out. Like it is what it is, but
we
they
have
make
to
it
do something
stand out.
different.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of things different.
It's a
But
concern.
do you think can but do you think can it be done? Like sometimes I'll be like, man, just fuck it. Just do you live your life because like they just shooting up everywhere now. In the middle of a protest where we're actually getting heard. You know what I'm saying? Things are kind of changing and these motherfuckers is out here shooting shit up, shooting the fucking town up all over the United States though, not just Chicago.
Yeah, listen,
Explain that.
man. It's not often that 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 I'm speechless. I always got something to say. You know what I'm saying? But I
Yeah.
honestly I can't even think of any area, any way that we could probably change it or make it better. But I will say this, you know, we all have to do our part. We all have to, whether it's the way we raise our, the way we.
But you have to look at it. You have to
Somebody
look
got
at
some
it in
noise.
the. You have to look at
Hold
it
on,
in the
Tina, hold on, Tina.
context.
Somebody got some
Yeah.
noise coming from the background. Was that? I heard noise coming from the background.
That's real
Mm,
loud. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what it
Sounds
is.
like TV. Is that your TV, man? No, Tina.
I'm in a
Well,
closed room.
Jeff is watching TV, but it's real quiet.
Oh yeah,
Baby, can you turn it down just a little? I'm sorry. Sorry. He's
that's all
watching.
good.
He's
Yeah,
watching
yeah.
Sixth Sense. Freaking good movie, right? Anyway, so so I think that the problem is that looking at things in context, right? So we can't just be like, oh yeah, like we can't have gang violence. Okay, well, that's the reality of living where people live. Now, like I used to live in Portchester. I never got involved in gang violence, but that wasn't just wasn't my reality. But other people had their own realities, and like it's just like a lot of people feel like whatever their situation is like that's what they've got to deal with. Like that's what's in front of them. That's what they've got to like deal with and be part of and whatever. Like I don't judge people for what they feel like they've got to be a part of or what not to be a part of. So the problem is that the systemic kind of problems. That's where I have the issues. It's just like, like um things weren't set up in such a way so that people can get out of that easily. We have to fight, scratch, and like bite our way out of like difficult situations and like hard situations. Like my mother was an immigrant from West Africa. My father was an immigrant from Europe. Like it's just like they were both working in the factories in Portchester. That's where they met. Like, like we had nothing, like then my father left at some point and then like it was just me and my mother trying to scratch by. And it's just like, okay, so like I finally went to school and I got my degrees and I did whatever, and my kids, are better off than I was starting off. But like the problem is that it's generational. So it's just like you can't really blame people for the situations that they've tried to survive in. But in in another way, it's just like trying to give them something else. Problem is that we've been sold the idea that college is going to fix all our problems, and that's not the case.
It's
Like
gonna create more.
technical schools, get learning a trade, doing all these things are things that are equally as valuable. And we're not selling this to our kids because we were sold the idea that college was going to solve all our
Yeah, that's
problems.
where I was going too, though. I was going there too. I was saying it starts with us raising our kids correctly. I think it starts with the community starting to be a little bit more involved, informing, educational, whatever. Just letting them know, listen, we we've got to do better. You know what I mean? What's that old saying they say? If you know better, you do better, right? You know what I'm
No
saying?
better, you do better. Yeah.
So let's say, for instance, that we can't do anything about it. How do we plan better for it? Are we? I mean, because GoFundMe is not life insurance, right? So, I
Right.
mean, I know when I was growing up, my mother, my grandmother, and all them, whatever, life insurance was just as important as any other bill in the house. It got paid just like the electricity. It got paid like the rent, whatever. It was just as important. It wasn't just an isolated or another bill. It was just as important. They paid it every month. The life insurance man came and knocked on your door every month to come collect that premium. You know what I mean? And it was
Mhm.
important to them. It was more. It wasn't more like a luxury. It was a necessity to them. But I think now that the generations have changed, they don't see it as a necessity anymore. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I I'd rather pay my cell phone bill than pay my life insurance. You know what I mean? Then you got these GoFundmes, whatever. I mean, but I think if we're gonna be out here doing what we're doing, we need to start preparing a little bit better. You know what I mean? And life insurance is not just about final expenses. It's not about paying some money. It could also help you with generational wealth as well. You know what I mean? But
Right.
I think generational wealth is the key, right? Like a lot of us who grew up kind of
Yo,
like
your background
poor.
is crazy.
Oh, is it? I'm sorry.
Sound like he was on a cliff with the sun out and the wind blowing, like he was
I'm
reading
sorry.
tablets to
I'm
the
gonna try
people.
and block it. I'm gonna try and block it. But like a lot of us didn't grow up with like the idea that we could do more than just work for somebody. You know what I mean? Like having our own of something, some own business or flipping houses or like doing something that we could do on our own. That wasn't something I grew up believing I could do. Like I legit thought I was going to work for somebody until I dropped dead at work probably. But like
Right.
but that wasn't even something I considered, right? And so that at some point in time, like we bought a business or whatever, but it was just like that wasn't something I was thinking about. Like I didn't think I could do that. And that's the problem is because like we had so the problem is that it wasn't conducive for people to have their own property, have their own businesses. Okay, fine. What do we do now? Like okay, fine, yeah, the government didn't make it easy for anybody to do anything unless you were white or whatever. That's fine. But what now? What do we do now? How do we move forward? And people are doing it. Like it's not to say, I mean, like even Calvin, like you've got your own insurance business. That's amazing. And so like like it's just like, but how do we push that idea into the younger generations? Because I am 47. Like how do I push that on to my own kids, and how do I push that on to my grandkids, and how do I push that on that like don't don't tell yourself that for the rest of your life you're going to be working for somebody else. And that's not something we've been taught coming up.
well, here's
Well,
the thing.
listen, you got to think about how the Rothschilds continued, the Rockefellers continued. They still, I always thought that too. I'm like, how do rich people stay rich? How do they stay rich for generations? Because they teach nothing but how to make that money, how to keep the company going,
Yeah,
or
well,
whatever they're
they
doing to
also
make
pass
money.
that money down though. So
Yeah,
we
but
don't have
still,
that
no, you still got
generational
to.
wealth to pass down.
Yeah, I know, I understand that, but I'm just saying, it's like anything. Like, how do they do it? Like, if they don't actually, of course, they have the money, but I'm saying, like, you still got to teach finances or somehow to run this business that's been running for years, right? So I believe that you should do your kids the same way. Like, if you're teaching them ABCs or how to eat or how to read, you just imply that in there with it. How to,
But I think
how
that's
to
what
write
our
a check, how to
that's
get a
what our
bank account.
problem is. Our problem is that we're teaching our kids to how to survive. We're not teaching them how to thrive. And that's because of what we've grown up knowing, and that's like we were all trying to survive. And so like we're like, dude, you got to survive, and we're teaching our kids how to survive, and that's great because they need to survive, of course. But
Right.
like we're not teaching them how to thrive and how to like own this shit. They
Yeah,
need to own this shit.
that's all good, but that's just teaching them how to how to earn
Maintain.
a living. That's how to learn a living. I'm talking about how to keep them alive. You know what I mean? And because man, man, you was there. We did a lot of dirt. We did a lot of bad things growing up. We were bad kids, but
Whoa, 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 whoa,
but here's the
whoa.
thing, though. We
We
still had
live.
we still had some humility. You know what I mean? We still
Yeah.
have respect for our elders or whatever. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly. That's what I
So
always say.
exactly, but this generation here, it's a little bit different. You know what I mean? It's a little bit different. You know, there's less respect.
FOH. Your
Yes,
favorite is FOH.
there's
Yo,
there's
Shane Pratt in the chat, man. Welcome to the show. He said,
What's
"Facts team, last time we spoke.
and,
They
and
taught us how to be." Hold on, he says they taught us how to be consumers. They stay rich by creating the oppression and profiting from it. But you're right. It's
That's
time.
right. We're not consumers. We're not creators.
that's true. That's true. But we like I said, we have to put our rough and tough suit on. We got to get in the trenches and we got to start talking to some of these young guys, whatever. And we have to make them understand they have to value life. But you can't value someone else's life if you don't value your own first. You know,
Word.
that's where it starts. It starts teaching them how to value themselves, seeing value inside themselves, knowing their self worth. I mean, because when I got after I become paralyzed, and I realized I didn't have no skills to fall back on. You know, I had to ask myself, okay, what do you bring to the table to a job? What kind of skills or what is your worth? You know what I mean? And so I had to I had to take some inventory of myself to find out what it is that I possess that I can bring to something. But okay, boom. Okay, when I was in high school, my father made me take typing. Okay, boom. My father and my mother, birth, they were both hard workers. I bring that to the table. Boom. I have great follow up skills. I'm a grinder, whatever. So you have to know what your worth is. And once you find out what your worth is, you won't settle. You won't settle for less than what you deserve. And we have to start letting these younger people know what their worth is. We have to, and it also starts with learning your true history, so that you know that
Mm-hmm.
you may not know your coach, you may not know your ancestors, whatever. But if you dig back into, you know, the motherland, and you start to realize that we come from kings and queens, you probably can appreciate that a little bit more than being told that your history started in shackles. You know what I mean, or in chains. Your history didn't start.
Right.
So you have to start to put some value on yourself, and you start to value others and respect others. But we have to do a better job. If we're gonna do continue the way we are, we got to do better at preparing for the afterlife. We got to start making sure people got life insurance. If you ain't got no life insurance, make sure you got some money saved up so somebody can bury your ass.
And
Because
don't wait till somebody gets sick because they ain't gonna give it to you.
exactly, you know what I mean?
Well, one of the things, has anybody ever watched the Men Who Built America documentary series? It's actually on, I think, Netflix.
I think I started watching
I
that.
used to I show my students on in US history all the time. But in that documentary, it's like a documentary sort of, it's like a docudrama, right? So they talk about a lot of the heavy hitters in US history, the ones that kind of changed things during the Industrial Revolution, like the Rockefellers and the and Carnegie's and the Fords and the whatever. But interspersed between the stories of these entrepreneurs, there's current entrepreneurs. Unfortunately, Donald Trump is one of them, but then we have other entrepreneurs that like talk on the video about the mentality of entrepreneurism and like what their edge is, and like and I remember watching this, and I've watched only probably about the first 3 or 4 episodes because I can't show the whole thing in my class, because otherwise I wouldn't do anything for like 4 weeks. But what's interesting to me is the ideology behind entrepreneurism, and this like ideology of like advancing your business and being a strong business person without running over other people. I think that Trump runs over other people. He runs over small businesses to get
Hell yeah, big
yeah,
time.
whatever he wants. He doesn't pay them whatever, but not all of them do that. So for me, it was just like, okay, there's something to be learned there. So it's called The Men Who Built America. I highly recommend it, because not just because they talk about people who were back in the day who, did oil and did the cars and did steel and did blah 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 and the railroads and whatever. Um, but it also talks about the mentality of our current entrepreneurs and what drove them and made them more important, more powerful and successful. Yes, we were at a disadvantage for many years, and we still are. But there's an opportunity now, maybe not now because things are kind of crazy, but there's an opportunity to try to build something now. And I think that that's where we need to put our minds to. Yes, we can work for the man for a while until we figure out what we want to do, but we got to put our minds to our own thing. We're not doing that.
Well, Shane made a very valid point. He said necessity is the mother of invention. Um, and when you think about it, our ancestors, whatever, they had to make something out of nothing. You know, everything from the toilet, everything to from uh, heaters, a lot of that stuff. If you do the history, you'll see electricity, all that stuff
Right.
was born out
Light
of
bulb.
necessity. You know what I mean? And a lot of that was those inventions came from people that look like us. They won't get the credit for it because they were someone's property because they
Right.
invented it. It was
Yeah.
okay.
Well, they
Let's
had a patent building. They bought a building and made it a patent building. They know the way you can go through, get it done is through them. And they was like, "Oh, you ain't getting this shit. Take
yeah,
it and
yeah,
put
yeah,
their
yeah.
name on it. Keep it."
I'm gonna get credit for this exactly. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? But
that's what Shane said in the chat.
yeah,
So they
yeah,
stole it and claimed
and
it.
it's true. It's true.
That's a fact.
But like I said, man, I just hope that we can start to plan a little bit better, sitting down with our families, sitting down with our children,
Hmm.
and thinking about ways to build generational wealth. I probably told this story before, and I'm gonna tell it again. I was talking to you know, a Jewish gentleman, whatever, and I told him about my problems as an insurance man, whatever. I sell property and casualty, and I sell life insurance. So I sell everything from auto to home, business insurance, recreational RVs. I do all that. And I said, that stuff right there is easy to sell. It sells itself. The
Yeah.
phone is always going to ring for that stuff because
Right.
it's the law. You got to have it. I said, but my life insurance, oh, I got to sell that. I got to get out there and
Right.
explain to people the value of having it, why it's important. It's like pulling teeth, not to people, but to my people. It's like
Hmm.
that, pulling teeth because they just don't see the value in having it. And he said, well, I don't understand. He said, that's how we build our wealth. He said, "There's no other way where we can come into a big lump sum of money like that, whatever." He said, "So we make sure that we get life insurance on everyone. So if something happens, we take that money and we build our communities with it. We build our businesses with it. We build our homes with it. That's the only way we can build our wealth is through life insurance." And I said, "Well, our people don't see it that way. You know what I mean? We see it as we got to bury somebody." You know what I mean? And that's it. That's the only way we see it, whatever. So it's just different perspectives, and we need to start sitting down with our families and explaining them what the importance of home
That's
ownership
a good game. Yeah.
and all
Yeah,
that.
but
Facts.
like
That's the only way to build it.
it's not just life insurance. So of course, like we can pool our money, like like be like
Oh yeah,
okay,
oh
like
yeah.
I was reading an article about probably about 6 or 7 months ago about these like six guys that all took $10,000 and like they saved up and took $10,000 and put
I
it
saw
together
that.
and bought a business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like
Right.
it's just like it doesn't have to be as complicated. That's the problem. That's the problem I had. So when my boyfriend was talking about like buying a business, I'm like, what? Like I can't buy a business. Like I was on welfare like 25 years ago. Like I can't. I'm not one of those people. And then I'm like, wait, I sold my house. I had a couple of dollars left, and he had sold his house, and he had a couple of dollars left, and we were like, hey, let's buy this business over here, and we bought it. And I'm like, this is a thing, like I could do this. Like I was so scared, I was terrified. I was just like, this is not something that we do. Like I don't like whatever. And it's doing decent, or whatever. I mean, we haven't gotten back the money we put into it yet, but it's close ish. you know, and by the end of the season, we'll have probably or gotten close to what, at least what we put into it. And next year we should get back what we put into it. But it's just like I was so afraid. I was so afraid of trying and like attempting something. So like I think that that's what a lot of us are so like we're so tight fisted with
Mhm.
what we have. Like we're just like we'll spend $50 on something over here, but like not $10,000 of our money. We won't save up $10,000 to try and put it towards something else because we're afraid. We're not used to having money and we spend it as soon as we get it. I know I did. So it's just like we have to change that mentality. Like, okay, we have to build exactly what Calvin was saying, generational wealth. It's the only reason why the difference between us and what white people are doing. They pass their money down generation to generation. They've had longer to do it, yes, because the government was helping them for a significant amount of time, but
Always helps.
okay, yes, but it's not impossible. And the problem
Right.
is we're so used to not thinking we can do it, we don't even try to do it.
Well, I don't know. This is usually around the time when we take a break. I don't know if you guys want to continue on or you guys want to take a quick break. It's up to y'all.
It's up to you.
Yeah, we can take a break.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna come right back. We do it for the culture minute. We've been talking about untimely deaths, what we can do to maybe prepare for them. Some things we could probably do better at preparing for untimely deaths, educating our people in
Mhm.
the community about things we can just do different and do better. We'll be back. We do it for the culture radio, y'all. This is how we do.
Hey, hey, yo, let me know when we coming back.
Yes, 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 yes. We do it for the culture radio where our stories matter. And we're back. And if you haven't been paying attention to what we've been talking about, or if you missed it, we've been talking about untimely deaths. I don't think there's a whole lot that we can change about it. I'm hoping that we can do some things differently within our personal lives and stuff like that. But we also discussed what we could possibly do as far as preparing for it, making sure that we got some money saved up, starting some businesses, creating just generational wealth, getting life insurance, and things of that nature. Um,
Hmm.
so moving on to another matter here. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention. There's a lot been going on with protesting. There's a lot of products being having their names changed because just recently the Redskins um, changed
They
their name,
changed the logo.
changed the logo. Yeah,
What
because
they changed it to?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. I gotta
I
check my.
didn't see anything yet.
I know they were gonna. I know they were definitely doing it. They made that
Hmm.
official. I just don't
Right.
know exactly what they changed the name to, the logo in the name to. But it's been going around on a lot of products, Ancient Mama, Uncle Ben, all these different products that they're targeting for the
Changing
criminal.
everything.
They were racist
Yeah.
names, or they have racist logos and stuff like that.
Right. They're just going at everything that even sounds anything like it. Just trying to get this shit up
Everything,
out of
right?
here.
Now, before I pass it over to you guys, just let me just say something real quick. I don't care about flags. I don't care about uh, these names, whether it be Columbus, whoever. I don't care about these names. I don't care about what they did. Only thing I really care about is equality. I care about I care about the injustice. I care about the civil rights. Those are the things that I really want to focus on. All that name changing and all that, I could care less. But what do you guys
Right.
think about all this name changes, changing the names of all these different things? Because they trying to do it in Port Chester now. They're trying to rename Columbus Park. Do you guys have any
They
uh
absolutely should change the name of Columbus Park. That's some bullshit. He was a he was a he was he was he was a murderer. He committed genocide. Like why are we honoring this
but
man?
who didn't, Tina? I mean, all the forefathers, all these guys. That I mean,
So as soon as you
they
find a if you, as soon as you find a statue of that motherfucker, you fucking take his shit down too. I'm
Hmm.
sorry, but I'm sorry, but 50, 100 years from now, I hope to God if there's a freaking Donald Trump freaking statue somewhere, everybody gonna fight to get that down. You don't honor the people who ruined humanity. Like this man was garbage. He was garbage. I'm sorry, but like I am 100% for
you
down for
say
taking
he's garbage.
every Confederate symbol, everything of Columbus because he was garbage. He was
You,
garbage.
Hmm.
you say he's a murderer.
Yes.
Other people say he founded this country.
He didn't found this country. There were already people here. You can't find
He
something
didn't
that
even
where already people
come
were
here.
at. People were here. You can't find something that people already
No,
found.
but he didn't even come here. He went to like the
Uh,
Bahamas, right?
And that
He went to the
stupid
Bahamas.
bitch, thought he found India. That stupid motherfucker. Get the fuck out of here. That's a bullshit. That's
Okay,
some
but
If he
bullshit.
would have found
That's a
America, it wouldn't have been
bullshit.
named after Amerigo Vespucci. It would have been named Columbia or some shit.
they said
That's
That's what we be
they
Colombians.
fuck
said he
out
made
of
a
here.
wrong they said he made a wrong turn.
Exactly. So you want to name shit
Yeah.
after this stupid bitch that couldn't find nothing? Get the fuck out of here. Get the
Okay,
fuck out of here.
okay,
Yeah,
so
but look, listen, look. I think that I mean I don't even care, but I get everybody's point of view because if it's there, I know what type of people I'm dealing with, and if it's not there, then I don't give a shit. But sometimes it's a red
I'm
flag for
sorry.
me. Like I'm sure,
I'm
and I see
sorry.
like a
but
He
are
slave
killed
master
he
on a
killed
horse
he killed the Native
statue in the middle of America.
Americans and he
Yeah,
brought
I get
slaves
it.
with him and he did some he raped everybody who was here. Come on. Come on.
but
Yeah.
Why are we
here's
honoring
the
this
thing.
man?
Here's the
No,
thing.
I don't honor shit.
here's the thing: though, are we going too far with it? Though they even trying to change the name of the General Lee. Dukes of
Change
Hazzard.
it. Change it. Change it. You should have had the
You know what I
Confederate
mean?
flag
Come
on that
on,
bitch
man.
anyway.
The General
Oh,
Lee, not the General Lee.
I'm sorry. So you would like the flag that like enslaved black people? You like that? That was good.
Nah,
Yo, I had that toy when I was little. I ain't no shit. I
yeah,
had
right.
that toy when I was a
Look, don't
kid.
get me. I love me some Dukes of Hazzard.
I ain't
I,
no
I
shit.
love
I'm
me
running
some
around
Dukes
the
of
house with a
Hazzard.
Exactly.
Confederate flag toy.
Back then when I loved Dukes of Hazzard, I didn't know what the fuck that meant. Now I
And I
know
was
what it
down
means.
south. And I was in North Carolina too. That's even
My
worse. Shit's
my thing
worse.
is, I
That's
don't care
why
nothing.
you didn't know. That's why
Yeah.
you didn't know because you were in North Carolina.
Watching that shit on TV.
Like
Watching
I
that
said,
shit on TV
like I said,
faithfully.
I don't care about the symbolism. I don't care about these names. I don't care about the
You need
Yeah.
to
symbolism.
care about it.
They really don't do. They really don't affect me in one way or another. Like I said, I just don't want us to get distracted and lose focus on what really counts. Like I said, the civil rights, the equality. Giving people their rare share of justice. Matter of fact, hell, give us reparations. Let's not lose focus of the real things that matter and the things that we really should be concentrating on.
They're flying these flags, Calvin, because they're trying to throw it in your face that they expected you to be a slave.
The,
So
the, the,
what you're telling me is just like, okay, fly your flag where you think that I should have been a slave for the rest of my life, and it's okay with me. That's not okay with me. So I'm sorry, it's okay
why
with
does it
you.
bother you?
But I'm saying
Why does it
it
bother
bothers
you?
me because they're not flying that flag because they have some kind of
Yeah, they're
pride
not.
of whatever. It's
Being
it's because
assholes.
it's because they're just like black people should have stayed slaves, and that's why they nobody alive now would even consider having thinking about like the Confederate. This is a foreign country. The United States, they departed from the United States, decided they were leaving the United States. So we're flying a foreign flag in our country because they're like, oh yeah, we should have kept slaves. And you're just like, yeah, I'm cool with it as long as we got equality now. Then you ain't got no equality now. You stand in a store right now and it'll be you and a white guy standing next to each other with a gun in your hand. I promise you, you will be dead. I promise you.
So you don't think it's a representation of Southern pride or cultural pride for them?
Fuck Southern Pride. They fucking lost the war. You fucking loser bitches. Fucking get over that shit. You telling us to get over fucking slavery, but you can't get over the Civil War. Fuck you. That was 5,000 years ago. Fuck this bullshit. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. Ain't no Southern Pride here. Ain't no fucking Southern. What are you proud of? Y'all got chicken wings? Fuck you. I'm good.
So
I'm good.
if I wear the ankh around my neck, if I wear a patch with the African flag, is that saying something? Is that what is? I mean,
African flag. What is that?
Oh, you're talking about your heritage from your mother country. That's not the same thing as you leaving the union because you wanted to keep slaves and the union didn't want to keep slaves. You that's if anybody in the South tries to tell you that the reason why we had a civil war was anything other than slavery, it's bullshit. It's bullshit to the nth degree because they're talking about, oh, it was states' rights. Bullshit. Your state's right was that you wanted to keep slaves. Not that the North didn't have slaves. We had slaves, but not to the degree that the South did. And so they were like, "Oh, we want to
All same
join all
shit.
these." They were like, "We want to join all these places to the Union, but we want to have slaves too." Fuck you! You ain't having no damn slaves. Oh, we gonna fight you then. That's what happened in the Civil War. Don't let anybody tell you any different. And so then when they come in here with their fucking Confederate flags, all they're telling you is that we still want black people to be slaves, or at the very least subservient second class citizens. It's
so
bullshit.
let me ask
It's
this question:
bullshit.
at what point do we draw the line? Because if you're gonna draw the line at Robert E. Lee, and what do you start? Do you also draw the line at the so-called founding fathers because they own slaves from George Washington to Thomas
Take down Mount
Ben
Rushmore.
Franklin? Ben Franklin, they all had slaves. So I mean, what's the difference? They're supposed to be the founder. Do you take their names off of the
I'm fine
walls,
with it.
off of the buildings as well?
I'm good with it.
If they had something to do with having slaves or have something to do with oppression, rape, murder, you know what I'm saying, corruption,
But these
get them
people
out of
were
here.
presidents, though. They were presidents, though, man. You're gonna take their names off of
The hell does
buildings
that
because
mean?
they were presidents?
Yeah, but they were at least presidents of the
Hell yeah.
United States. So I'm not happy with the fact that they had slaves either. I am still I don't think I think we should make sure it's prominent that the fact that they had slaves as well. However, they didn't form a whole fake ass separate bullshit nation that was separate from us. The Confederate flag is a foreign nation.
We had 12.
Why are they flying in the United States by people who call themselves fake ass patriots? They're not fucking patriots. You're flying
Yeah,
the flag of a foreign country.
Okay, so here's the thing. Check it out, Tina.
Yeah.
that's a
We got
fact.
we got 12 founding fathers, right? Only one of them wasn't a slave owner or was against slavery, right? You
Who
telling me
that?
are you gonna take?
Abraham Lincoln?
Are you telling them? Are you telling me that we're gonna take these people's pictures off the money? We're gonna take the names off the money. We're gonna take the names off
I'd be fine with it.
monuments and Washington, and all these other important buildings that they're named after. That's what I'm
They
saying.
could take it off money because money's gonna stop anyway. So I
That's
don't
what I'm
give a
saying.
shit
But
about
here's the
that.
thing, but once you start, you can't stop. You're gonna have to draw the line somewhere. You just can't, just start and then it's gonna be no like where do I put
So what
They
so
want
let
to
me
erase history, so
so
they
Calvin,
should
let me
erase
ask you a
too. Like
question.
that's how it goes. Now it's
So
coming back.
Calvin, what America are you talking about? Who do they represent? Because do they represent your America? Do they represent you? Because they owned us. They did. So if you're like, oh, okay, I don't want to take my daddy down, then fine, sure, keep him up there. You could be like, okay, you know what? He said the right words. He only owned 5 of us slaves, but this dude owned 55 of us slaves, so that's okay. It just I take them all the fuck down. If they all own slaves and they're all bullshit, then they're all bullshit. Take them the fuck
Yeah.
down. Like, why are we protecting these people? Because
They'll
of
get
what?
credit in the books.
History?
Their names will be
Because of
written.
history? I don't give a fuck about history. You can
Oh,
put it in a history book and be like, this
Maine
fucker,
just, hold
this
on,
fucker didn't own as many slaves.
Maine just made another point. Are you gonna
What?
take them out of the history books as well?
Say
Yeah,
what?
they'll
No,
get,
you
they'll
don't.
get their credits in the book.
You don't even
No
take.
pictures.
You don't even take this Trump motherfucking bitch ass motherfucker down either. You take that bitch, you put him in history books so that all his generations of great grandkids know what a fucking cocksucker he was. But
So,
you need to keep his ass in there.
so
You need to keep his ass in there so everyone knows. However, you don't need to put monuments up. You don't need to make him
Right.
look like he was this great person because he wasn't. But he needs to be in the history book so we know that we're all
Right.
heading to
Exactly.
idiocracy.
That's what
We're
I'm
all heading.
saying.
We're all heading
They
for.
don't need statues. Just put them in the book. Keep them in
Put 'em in
writing.
the
Tell
book
them who
so
they
people
were,
know what the
good
fuck
and bad.
came from. That's what they
Yeah,
need to
good
know.
and bad.
if you're gonna erase some off monuments and you're gonna erase some off buildings, you might as well erase them out the history books as well. That's all I'm
So
saying.
should we put a monument up for coronavirus?
Nah, you know why?
That
You
shit
know
too?
why?
You
Because
gonna forget coronavirus because we didn't put a fucking statue up of a fucking virus? You gonna remember that shit? You gonna remember it, right? Am I
I
wrong?
mean,
You
he
gonna
said if
remember
you
that
stop telling it, then you'll erase them completely out. If you take them out the books and take the statues
because
down, it'll
because
be
there's not a
erased
statue with him
completely.
on a fucking horse. You won't remember him. Okay. Okay.
No, I'm saying if you take them out the books as well, then you won't remember them at all. That's what he's going.
No,
He said
you
do
put
all
it in
that.
the
You're
books.
a teacher, Tina, so I'm sure that you're teaching and the books that you're giving your students. I'm sure they're in those books.
Let me, they
Mm.
are in those books. Let me tell you what I'm about to teach in my civics class next year. I'm going to talk about how the hell there is absolutely no checks and balances in our government because this fucker is in here causing a ruckus. He's disrupting the entire country. We have no checks and balances. There's nothing to balance this shit ass president right now. There's nothing. He's corrupted the entire establishment. So yeah, we grew up, you, me, Maine, all of us grew up thinking there was these checks and balances. Oh, the Supreme Court will never allow a president to do anything crazy because they'll overrule him. Or oh, the Congress will never let the president do anything crazy because they'll just overrule him. You know what you can do? Corrupt all of them at the same time. So that's what we have right now is this corrupt ass government that's spread like a virus. And so like
But it's
yeah,
nothing new.
there
It's
ain't
nothing new.
there ain't no checks and balances though.
But there's
So
nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new
but,
with the
but
government.
back under Reconstruction, we had the most progressive Congress we've had since then. We had them that were talking about They disenfranchised white rich landowners and put black people in office in Reconstruction post Civil War, exactly right after the Civil War. They were so ahead of their time, it was ridiculous. But the world wasn't ready for that. So what we had was this, like, it just kind of went back to what was normal. But the problem was is that people were checking it. Eventually somebody came in and checked it. But we've got such a shit show right now that, like, I can't even
I'll tell you
explain it
one
to my
thing.
students.
I hope your significant other is not is a Trump supporter as well, because if not, he in trouble.
He was originally, but I fixed that.
Yo, Jermaine, could
You
yo,
drilled him. You drilled him.
man.
You just drilling him every day about Trump. Negatively. Get him out of
I
here.
was just, well,
Get
because
him away.
I am
Cut that
fact
shit off.
I am fact based. I'm like, okay, so why do you believe that? Why do you believe that? Why do you believe that?
Man,
Why do
could
you
you
believe that? Let
imagine
me
what
tell
it
you
was
why
like
that's
for
not
him,
true.
man? Man, could you
Just,
imagine what it was like for him being a Trump supporter with her? Oh my God, yo.
You know,
I
I
just cut
almost
the
laughed.
TV off. I don't even deal with it. I just cut the TV off. I don't listen to it. But no, every time he opens his mouth, I'm like, I can't do it. I just stop looking at him.
I can't even hear his
I
voice.
don't even care.
I
I
can't
don't
even
even
hear his
care.
voice. I can't hear his
I mean, I
voice.
heard him speak twice. I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. He's always saying some dumb shit.
Unbelievable.
Mm.
Unbelievable, yo. I'm glad he changed his tune. I'm glad he went to the
Oh, he did. I brought the receipts. I was like, let me tell you something. This is what this, and this, and this. If you still believe that, I got to go.
Yeah,
And here,
I think he agreed by default, man. Yo,
Right?
man, I think it's, you know what? I'm not gonna let her know, but I'm gonna let her think. Yeah, I
Deep
agree.
down inside.
I better never find out no other different because I will not be okay.
Like he said, yo, I'll be when he come around, I'll be quiet.
You're right.
After he leave, I'll be talking again. He's gonna support what you want him to support until he goes behind that booth. Then boom.
No, he won't.
Check it out. Yeah, check it out. We had a good show today, but next week, listen, y'all get ready. Next week, let's talk about secret societies. Let's talk about these
Oof.
social clubs, whether it be the Masons, the fraternities, or let's dive into these social clubs and these secret societies, and let's talk about that a little bit of how they affect the black community, and do they do anything for the black community at all? Are they just collecting dues? We're gonna talk about that next week, Wednesday. We do it for the culture video. Make sure you tune in because we gonna really rub some people the wrong way next week when we start talking about these social clubs and these secret societies. They're not gonna like this. We do it for the culture radio where all stories matter.
Bringing the smoke.
Say goodbye to the people, man and Tina.
Bye, guys.
Peace and love, people. Be safe.
Yes, sir. We do it for the culture. We love y'all. Y'all stay tuned. Y'all be easy. 5 minus 4, yo.
One.